Welcome to episode 2 of the No Notes podcast. Thanks for joining us. You've made it this far, so congratulations for sticking with it. These will get more and more marketed as we continue to go. So these first few episodes will be funny to look back on it at some point. Thanks for joining me, Chen. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be. We're just recording this right now because we just want to get in the habit of recording, so a few times a week. But yeah, as we go along, we'll get more. We'll get some overlays. We'll make it look a little bit snazzier, and we'll start clipping. Maybe
What's that famous saying? Rome wasn't built in a day. Is that
Rome
one?
wasn't built in a day, and that's what we're doing right now. We're building
Yeah.
an empire, a
Well,
gay sex empire.
Rome eventually fell. So
Yeah, it did fall.
yeah,
It
that's the
did
part no
fall.
one tells you about. Is it was built it wasn't built in a day, but it was destroyed. Slowly but surely. Actually,
Yeah,
slow destruction. Anyway, jumping on the topic of the day, we're back from episode 1, talking NBA again. Since that time, the Thunder have closed out the TWolves, and they're in the finals. Congratulations to them. And then the Knicks put up a little bit of fight. You were right. I was wrong. Congratulations. And it is now 3-2 in that series, going back to Indiana for game 6. And that should be a good one. I think we'll probably start with the Thunder just because they're in the finals, and that's kind of the starting place. Then we can kind of work our way to what we think will happen with Indiana and what happened with Tyrese Halliburton last night.
Yeah, that would be funny because we were both sucking Tyrese Halliburton off in our first episode. So he better fucking come out game 6 and ball. But
yeah, I just want him to shoot the ball, even if he misses. That's okay.
Yeah.
I just want him to actually try to shoot the ball.
Thunder. I mean, hey, you were right. I'll give you props. This was before the playoffs even started. Even when the Celtics were fully healthy, you said the Thunder were probably going to win it, and they're just looking so dominant. You can't really dribble the ball against them. And watching Julius Randle fucking dribble the ball against them from the outside, oh my God, it's just it's a terrible thing to watch. Everyone right now is crowning them as the next dynasty. I think you and I, maybe we're playing some devil's advocate or just being like, hey, we've seen this before. Everyone says they're a dynasty, but the West is going to be a lot better next year. So maybe I'm going to pump the brakes on that as well. But right now they have crazy athleticism everywhere on the court. Everyone is smart defensively. They do a lot of double teaming when you drive to the hoop, but then people rotate out. They're really good at getting back. And then offensively, SGA is fucking unguardable. And Chet's been a monster, dude. Chet's been hitting huge threes, just being aggressive at the rim. And he's been so good. I think he's going to eventually be the number 2 option on that team because he missed a bunch of this season too. And he's still really young. So Chet's been unstoppable, and they look like they're probably going to destroy whoever comes out of the East, whether it's the Knicks or the Pacers. For the T-Wolves, dude, look, I think it's more interesting to talk about the T-Wolves from our perspective because the Thunder, it's like, yeah, they're loaded. Their cap sheet looks great. Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Like, with the Thunder, it's essentially barring a catastrophic injury to one of their top 3 guys, they're winning the championship this year, and they'll be one of the favorites entering next year too. I think the landscape will be a little bit different entering that because this NBA offseason should produce some, I think league shifting moves that could propel teams like the Spurs, obviously the Mavericks getting Cooper Flag, and then you never know what the Lakers do or any of these other teams. Like everyone's in the mix for next year. But yeah, I agree. I think where do the T-Wolves go from here? Sort of kicking this off, I would ask Anthony Edwards, is this as far as you would have expected him to take them? Where do you think this team goes next year from a roster standpoint? And what evolution does does Ant need to go through, and Randall, and I guess some of these other guys to get to the finals next year? If that's even in the realm of possibility, I'm not sure that is with this team as it's currently constructed.
Yeah, I'm in the boat that you're in. So I'm looking at with Ant. I think this is the farthest they were going to go. They weren't better than OKC. OKC is a better team. Ant, personally, he has to improve his off-ball defense and awareness. He still falls asleep too much off the ball, and he has to improve his off-the-ball movement. And then offensively for his actual scoring game, he just has to reincorporate the midi or add the mid-range jumper because his game right now is too much shoot threes, which he got really good at last year, and then get right to the rim. So I have no doubt in my mind he's going to come back next year, have some sort of mid-range game or just a better scoring game. But Ant's fine. Still obviously incredible. Here's my thing. I would keep Gobert, not because I don't agree with you that the Gobert trade was an overpay, but it's a sunk cost now. And I wouldn't look to move Gobert. I don't know how much value Gobert has with the contract he has. I would look to keep what's it called? The other big man, Naz Reid. I would look to keep him no matter what. I would let Na go. I wouldn't overpay for Na. I would let Na go. Next season, I would play way more young guys. So Rob Dillingham needs to play a lot next year. Terrence Shannon's going to get minutes again. And then Jalen Clark and Minot. I would play all of those young guys and just surround Ant with even more athleticism. Conley, if he wants to come back next year, fine. He's got to be like a one-shift player next year. And, dude, the two guys I would look to move off of is Randall, 100%. 100% I'm moving off Julius Randle. I don't give a fuck that he had a good playoffs against the Lakers or the Warriors. There was no one on the Lakers that were really going to guard him, and the Warriors didn't have Steph. And, yeah, he destroyed Draymond. But here's the thing with the T-Wolves. They've been to back-to-back conference finals. The next ceiling they're trying to reach means that they need to do something to really lift their ceiling. And my problem with Randall is if he doesn't have a physical advantage against the team that he's playing against, he can't do anything. And he's just going to fucking turn the ball over tunnel vision every single time. So, yeah, is he good enough to get you past the first round or second round? Sure. But the ceiling you're hitting is conference finals. Every time you're in the conference finals, you're going to face a freaky athletic team, especially in the West. So you're not getting away from that. And you have a Julius Randle problem. DiVincenzo is a bench player. I don't think he plays like winning basketball. I think his shot selection and the IQ and everything is just not where it needs to be. That's my takeaway. I don't know what you think.
On the Randall piece, right? Just to hone in on that for a second. We're now a full season through that trade. What's the, I guess, winner loser outcome of that trade? I think it's safe to say that Cat has more trade value.
Yeah,
100%. But you could argue that it's been a beneficial trade for both sides because Cat and Gobert weren't working together, and this team got to the Western Conference Finals. They did last year too, but I don't know. I don't think it was a terrible trade for the T-Wolves, but I definitely favors the Knicks. But yeah, curious to hear what you think about it.
Well, dude, I think they played better teams last year. I think the T-Wolves last year would destroy the T-Wolves this year as a team. Personally, I just think they played better. They beat Denver. They beat Denver in 7. That Denver team was pretty fucking good last year, and they were up 20 in Game 7, and the T-Wolves beat them. I think this year they were obviously better than the Lakers, but the Lakers had really no bigs, and then they played a Warriors team where Steph was out.
Yeah, no, the Warriors we don't really even need to talk about because it was just it's a non-starter because Steph was out, so they were playing essentially a man down the entire series. Cat's
a better player than Randall. I think Cat's a much better player. And I think
New York got the better end of the trade, but would you say that would Minnesota make this trade again?
Probably because they don't want to pay Cat, and I don't think they really want to pay Randall. So I'm looking at Randall right now. He has a player option. Oh, he's a fucking player option next year for $31 million. So I don't.
Yeah, but that's not terrible. I mean, a $31 million player option, and he's unexpiring. What's Cat?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna do though. He might. I don't know if he takes it.
If he opts out, that's even better for them.
Yeah. I don't know if I would pay him 31. I don't think 31 sounds terrible with the new cap that's going to come. But
I mean, it's a player option, so they don't have a choice if he takes it.
No, but I'm saying just if you're negotiating for the future and he's asking for something in the 30s, like
no,
right? Because
he's like low 20s for me.
Yeah. I just don't think you want him to be your second best player.
He's low 20s, and that's if I can't get anybody else. That's not like oh my gosh, let me get Julius Randle right now and lock him into a 5-year deal.
I'm not high on him at all. I think you could just put someone better next to Ant, and I think you're better off picking a young guy who's talented next to Ant than I.
And what's the Karl Anthony Towns contract situation?
I mean, he's getting paid a fuck ton. Hold on, Cat contract.
Because This might just come out in the wash. This might have just been a good trade for both sides.
I mean, his cap is huge. It's well, you got a player. So next year he's getting paid 53 mil, and then the year after that 57 mil and 61 mil player option. So Minnesota's fine because they got off his contract.
Honestly, give me Randall. I would rather
Randall as a So okay, so
because here's the thing.
You're right, because Randall's a free. He's gone. Like he's
Randall either opts out and he's gone, and now you don't have this $50 million cat issue that New York's going to have.
Yeah.
Or he opts in and is $31 million more than I want to pay him? Probably, but on an expiring contract, he has some trade value. That's true. At worst, you run it back one more year and then you're done. So I kind of feel like this is a win-win because I think New York had to get off Randall and they wanted to compete now, and that was the right trade for them to make for Cat. And I think Minnesota wanted to get off the Cat contract, and they did successfully. And even if they, I think going to the Western Conference Finals is about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
Running,
I think that's an overachieve for that team, to be totally honest.
But I guess where does Minnesota go from here? Let's say, I think. First of all, what do you think? Towns or not Towns? What do you think Randall should do if you were him? I'd probably opt out, right? Just given the current
I'd opt out
landscape.
Deal.
Yeah, given the current kind of NBA landscape with deals, you would think that he could probably get.
He could probably get something in the 30s, to be honest.
Something similar, but longer term.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to pay him that personally. I wouldn't either. But there is going to be a team that doesn't get anything this summer and will just straight up pay him.
Yeah.
And given a lot of the other contracts in the league, I don't think 30 million for him is crazy.
No, it's not. I mean, Austin Reeves is going to end up getting. He's looking for a $30 million a year contract. So it's
wild.
But yeah,
So you're Minnesota. Let's say that he opts out and you don't elect to re-sign him. What do you do in this offseason?
So they have the 17th pick this year in a pretty good draft. So I think you need to use that. Or there is this rumor that's been floating around that I think Minnesota should do. I don't know who they would give up. Kevin Durant.
Is he on his list, or are they on his list?
I've been seeing that, and apparently what they were saying was Minnesota tried to trade for him at the deadline.
Yeah, so, I think Minnesota has the assets to get him. I think
that'd be a great fit next to Ant. I think that would be.
Would he want to go there though? Is the question.
I think so. KD's played in Phoenix. I don't really.
He's actually kind of
ball, bro.
He's kind of the ideal fit next to Gobert, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
KD, play him at the 4. If you play him at the 4 and just let Gobert suck up the paint and play, KD and his. I mean, it's not that different than what you'd kind of expect for him in his ideal position. You can play him a few different ways, but really, if you have him. Spreading the floor and Gobert kind of holding down, getting offensive rebounds on the offensive end and then doing his thing defensively. I kind of feel like they complement each other pretty well because KD probably doesn't really want to play inside at all anymore. So it would really be 4 out, 1 inside, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he's got the size. Yeah. And with Ant, I mean, that's a 1-2 punch. I think there have been times where Ant's gassed out, and I think if they had a supplementary scorer on the team, that would have been super helpful. I also think that there are just times where Ant is still young and, has kind of shied away from the light a little bit in the moment, a little bit this playoffs, not a ton, but there have been moments where I've been like, hey, you should step up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he'll get there. But KD, put them over at the top. If you had Ant, KD, and then Gobert as your defensive stopper, I think that's a team that could go all the way.
Yeah. Although I don't know who Phoenix asked for. If I would want to,
it's probably picks and
McDaniels.
McDaniels, yeah.
You have to give up McDaniels for that.
I like McDaniels. It's a nice player. I can have KD then.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can get away with DiVincenzo and a couple of their young guys because they've got Rob Dillingham and they've got Terrence Shannon, right? Those are their.
Shannon doesn't have a ton of trade value.
Right, but I'm just saying, the alternative would probably be DiVincenzo and a couple pieces to make the cap work.
Yeah, they're probably
it's going to be McDaniels and picks.
Yeah, I'd do it. I would do it.
I would do it. I think
that makes them.
McDaniels.
That makes them serious. If you put. That would be the best offensive player he's played with, that you put Cat next to.
At that point, either you get another guard or you believe in Dillingham and you play Dillingham, Ant, and then you've got to replace McDaniels, but you've got KD
Yeah,
and Gobert. I mean,
I would do depending on who they give up. I would do what you suggested, which is move Ant to the 1,
yeah,
and then just play a big defensive guard. Dillingham's an off the bench guy,
right.
and then play KD. Honestly, like either be like Jalen Clark, Minot, or one of those young athletic wings with Gobert. And then if you could keep Naz Reid in that deal, that would because
Yeah,
Naz Reid's a free agent. But so
yeah.
yes,
I don't think that they would. I mean, yeah, not exactly. So I don't think they would go for
yeah.
Nas Reed
And you
anyway. I
got
think they
Naz Reid.
want
Like that's a
McDaniels,
fucking
but
crazy
but
team.
that's what I was trying to say on the last pod about moving Ant to point guard. Not that he's a point guard, but
Just one
just
side.
as the primary ball handler, and then have someone who can play a little bit off ball, maybe a little bit on ball as a secondary ball handler, and shoot and play defense as like a
Yeah,
bigger guard next to him, and then you get a guy like Dillingham off the bench, and that just gives you more options and more variety in how you want to build lineups, because that's one of the advantages that the Thunder have is that they
yeah,
cycle in Caruso and Kason Wallace and they throw 10 guys at you, and it's really hard to stay on the floor out of foul trouble and stay on the floor energized throughout the entire game. We saw Ant, he was just gassed out in that game 5. So
yeah. I would do that
yeah,
trade. If
I
they
would
can't
too.
though, if they can't, I would just build. I wouldn't rush anything. I would just go into next season and I would tell Conley, you're not starting, and you need to play. You're going to come off the bench and play a little bit, and we need to advance into this Dillingham era and see what he's good at. Like
Yeah.
they just got to play all their young players next year. That's what they have to do. They have to play their young players, and if they can get away from Julius Randle, I would do that. I would give a
Yeah.
fuck.
I mean, I like their team. They've got good bones, their team. And look, the thing with Conley, he's 37, right?
Yeah,
And
he's got to be a
he's
veteran guard, just
he's
end of the
only
bench.
making he's only making 10 million next year, 10 to 11 million next year. So
Yeah,
it's not he's not costing you a whole lot. It's just the minutes that he's playing now and being in the starting rotation when you've got guys like Dillingham who you probably want to give more minutes to. And yeah, they've got to invest in some of their younger guys, Josh Minot, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if they'll bring back Alexander Walker or not.
I'll let
Or
him go.
yeah, me too. I again, if you get off of Randall, it's where do you go? What I do like about their team is they have McDaniels on really good money. I mean, they
Yeah,
have him. That's a great contract for them. They've got him on 25 mil next year. Like that's and he's 24 years old and he's still got 3 years after that. That's a really good contract for them. Obviously, they have Ant locked in. Doesn't really matter what you pay him. And then Gobert, at 35 mil, do I love it? No, but
it's
you
not
know,
terrible, dude.
it's
It's not
not
terrible.
terrible. It's
It's not
what
terrible.
I like about his contract is he's getting paid 44 this year and then it drops after that. So it's 35, 36, 38.
Yeah,
So,
they also have all their picks.
yeah, and they have all their picks. And if your core is Ant, McDaniels, and Gobert, and even if you don't get a KD, although McDaniels would leave in that scenario, even if you don't get a KD, with those 3 guys, I think you've got enough of bones of a team to draft well or make some additional trades, maybe move Ant to point guard and let him handle the ball a little bit more and kind of bring in a more of a defensive stopper next to him. But there's a lot of ways this team can go. I mean, they've got Dillingham who can get more minutes. They've got Terrence Shannon who can get more minutes. And yeah, they've got some young players, and I think they have space to integrate more youngsters if they want to as well. So
Yeah,
we'll see what they can do with second year players, rookies coming in. But I like their team. The issue that I have with the Wolves currently constructed, it's just there are so many West teams that are at
yeah,
parity with this, that have
yeah,
a young star, that have a couple of other bigger name role players, and are looking to add. So it's they're in the same position as 4 or 5 other teams, all kind of vying to be in contention with OKC, who's a tier above at this point. But
yeah.
I don't hate where they are. This is a successful season for the Wolves.
100%, dude. 100%.
Uh, yeah, so I guess taking it to the Thunder a little bit. I was expecting them to win in 4. They won in 5.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna steamroll most likely the Pacers, possibly the Knicks. Either one, for me, I think it's gonna be a sweep in the finals.
yeah. I mean, they have that fucking Topish kid coming in next year, who before he tore his ACL was supposed to be like this. He was like the best player in Europe or something.
Well, he fell in the draft because he had torn his ACL.
Yeah. So
they picked him knowing that they were just going to sit. He was just going to sit for
if they
year.
let,
So
yeah, they're just gonna. I mean, they're just gonna be fucking arguably better next year, which is crazy.
yeah, we'll see. I mean,
But like, there's injuries. Injuries happen, and Chet missed half the year, and they were fine without Chet. But I think it's gonna be more so. I think like you said, the West is gonna be a lot better next year. So I just think it's
yeah.
gonna be way harder to win in the
Could
West.
could you imagine Nikola Topic got paid $5 million to sit out the season this year? I know he's a rookie, but that's it's got to be a good feeling just sitting out on the sideline, knowing that you're making $5 million and that the team trusts that you're going to come back. Like, they picked him pretty high, but I think he would have gone high. I think he would have gone top 10 if he had been healthy. So
it's weird though, winning a ring. Like, if he's going to win a ring and then he didn't play at all this year. So like, I'm sure that's like a weird feeling to be like, all right, sick that I got a ring. I didn't do anything. Like, now he's kind of he has to. That's the shitty part. It's like, now everyone's going to treat this team like, hey, you guys all won a ring, but he literally didn't play. So I'm sure it's always been a weird.
Yeah, the big issue. So I'm looking at their payroll right now. The big issue that they have is that Chet and Jalen Williams expire
extension
at the same time.
Yeah,
what?
They're gonna have to. Yeah.
They expire at the same time, so they're both extension eligible, and they're going to both get paid the max.
Maybe, I mean, they seem
Chet's
to all
definitely the max. Chet's definitely the max.
Chet's definitely the max.
And Jalen Williams is.
If I had to pick between them, we're picking Chet.
Yeah, we're picking Chet, but I'm saying they're both probably the max.
Yeah.
Then you've got Shea, who's going to make 38, 39 next year. You've got Hartenstein, who's making 29. You've got Dort, who's making 17. You've got Isaiah Joe, who's making 12. You've got Wiggins, who's on one of the best contracts. Aaron Wiggins is on one of the best contracts in the NBA. It's his contract. It's highway robbery. Whoever negotiated his contract should be fired. He made 10 this year. He's making 10 next year. He's making 9 the year after, 8 the year after, 8 the year after. But sub 10 million for a player that quality. I mean, he should be in the $15 million range per year.
Yeah, and they have all these picks, so they're just going to.
I mean, Isaiah Joe is making more than Wiggins, which is nuts to me. But
they might let Dort walk.
Yeah, I mean the other. Well, look, I know he's been good this playoffs, and he's probably earned this contract. Caruso's on 10 mil this year, but it goes up to 18 million and then 20 million the year after. That's rich for my blood.
I know. Yeah, they'll probably just end up trying to get these young guys to fill in these shoes, move some of those guys, and then
I would move Caruso before Dort, but you'd probably have to package something with Caruso for someone to take him.
He'll be like 32.
He'll be 32. He'll be 32. Yeah, he'll be 32, injury prone, going into 3 more years of making $20 million.
Yeah, Dort's a lot younger.
Yeah, Dort's younger and he's on a better contract.
But Caruso's better. It's close. I mean, it's close because Dort can play the entire season. That's the thing. Dort plays the entire season.
If you were like, hey, who would you rather have, Dort or Caruso? I'd rather have Dort. Money aside, because I know he's going to play most of the games. Whereas Caruso's hit or miss, and he's got a little bit more positional flexibility on where he, who he defends and stuff like that. But they put Dort on the number one guy on the other team, the best guard on the lead guard on the other team. Like, I would rather have Dort. I would rather have Dort.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The thing is, this team has an embarrassment of riches because they've got picks, and then they've got SGA. They're going to have to give them extensions, but Chet and Jalen Williams, and then they've got young guys like Nikola Topic, Kason Wallace, Ousmane Deng, Aaron Wiggins. Like, they've got legit players that can just step in for guys like Dort or Caruso if they have to get rid of those contracts to make the money work. So they're in a great position. If you're looking at their squad from top to bottom and you're looking at their assets that can be traded, so they're young guys or their picks. Like, they're in the best situation in the NBA.
There's really nothing to say about them. That's my thing. It's just like,
but again, I don't think that but they're not in this position where I felt like there was a period where Golden State, it was like, unless you had LeBron on your team, there wasn't really anything you can do to counter what Golden State had.
Yeah.
Whereas like this team's so beatable in my mind. Like,
I think they're beatable. I think they're beatable as well.
They're beatable. Like if San Antonio,
which is crazy for us to say that though, because like, see, this is funny. If we were a bigger pod, we'd be getting roasted for that, which would be great. But I would then remind them and say, if you're going to roast one of us, you have to roast me because Flex did pick them to win at the beginning of the fucking playoffs. Like, I remember you saying that. So
and again, this isn't any negativity towards them. I think
Yeah.
that they should win. But similar to Boston last year, and you could argue the last few winners,
Yeah.
it's since we're in the post Golden State LeBron era at this point, you know, when I say LeBron, I mean prime LeBron, peak LeBron. Well, since we're in that post era, sorry, am I boring you here, Chen?
No. Keep going.
You
It
can
the
listen to
weed
this
that I
recording when
smoked
you need
with,
to go to sleep tonight.
it's the weed that I smoked with name ring.
But anyway, so the thing with with them is I just think the Thunder, they're going to win it this year. I think they've got a really good shot next year, but they don't have this crazy window. Like, let's say Giannis goes to the Spurs. Like, okay, your window might be closed. Like, the Spurs might be the favorites now all of a sudden. And even if that doesn't happen, Wemby is going to be, if he stays healthy, is inevitable. And you've got the Nuggets coming back with Jokic, and hopefully they support him and give him the team he deserves. So, yeah, it's one of those things where they're in the best position, but it's not because, I would say, because of their greatness. It's a little bit because the league's slightly lackluster.
I agree, dude.
We're waiting for the next dominant team to come out.
Yeah, I mean, look, they won a shit ton of games this year. You're right, though. Last year, they're younger than the Celtics were collectively last year, but I think the last year's Celtics team is better.
Yeah, no. The Celtics. Yeah, it's a prime example. It's like everyone thought the Celtics were going to run it back this year and possibly repeat. Yeah. And I was just like, you know, I don't know. A lot. The big difference, like you said, is a lot of the Celtics players are older, but also I would say more experienced and had the playoff reps to get to where they are. So look, congrats to Thunder. They're probably going to win. If not, this is an epic jinx against them, and maybe the pod does blow up if this comes back.
I'm hoping they lose.
But yeah, me too. I like to see the
Pacers. Would you rather see New York win, though? I don't know if I want to see the Knicks win. I've enjoyed the Knicks journey. I don't know if I want to see the Jalen Brunson. Like, if I had to pick this is where a Shea ring, give me a Shea ring. I think that's just more ethical to me.
I think that's a good segue into the next topic. So you presumed that the Knicks would be the team that's in. I think the Pacers are still going to win.
No, I said I still think dude, I just think that the matchup's way more even. And I had the Knicks winning Game 5. I knew they were going to win Game 5 because here's the thing, bro. What's crazy is nobody on either Indiana or OKC can guard Cat. There's no player remaining in the playoffs that can actually guard Cat. Now, that doesn't mean that the Knicks are going to win because Cat will commit stupid fouls. No, hear me out. Cat commits. He commits 2 dumb fouls a game, so he literally will probably foul himself out next game against the Pacers. That's probably what's going to happen. But in the moments where you actually just need a one-on-one matchup, Siakam's a great defender. He cannot hang with him. Dude, Cat has destroyed Miles Turner, bro. He has just literally just started going to the rim. He doesn't even shoot threes. He's just going right to the rim. There's nobody that can stay in front of him. And that's the thing. I think what the Pacers should do, and I texted you this, is just swarm Cat. And he can pass a little bit, but just get him frustrated and just swarm him and just literally just start taking the ball out of his hands. Because if you just let him play one-on-one, he just goes right to the rim. Dude.
So you're saying turn him into a scaredy cat? Is that where you're going for here?
That's I would just double and foul him. But he destroyed Siakam. That was fucking insane to watch. He murdered him. And
they also just need to stop making stupid fouls, though. I mean, there were just so many fouls that the Pacers made that I was just like, what are you doing? Like, just unnecessary. Mathurin had a couple of them, although Mathurin was arguably their best player. So I can't really fault him. But yeah, they made some really stupid fouls in Game 5, and they'll clean some of that up. I think they're going to win Game 6. I don't believe in Cat at all.
Probably.
I don't believe in Cat at all. But yeah, I agree. He is a mismatch. He is the mismatch.
He's the mismatch, dude. No one on OKC can guard him. No, that doesn't mean he's going to go off. They'll do team defense and wall him off. But Chet is not strong enough to stay in front of Cat.
No, it's going to have to be Hartenstein. And then,
he's not quick enough to stay. Like, Cat's fucking quick. On offense, he's really quick, dude.
At home.
He was blowing by Siakam.
Cat's really good at home.
Is that true? Is that actually
maybe it's a little bit of recency bias, but I just feel like when he's on the road and he doesn't have the crowd pumping him up, he's just prone to do stupid shit. He's a little bit like, oh, my ankle hurts, my knee hurts, and then he's like, oh, what? I didn't get the call. Like, come on, like, it's a little bit too much of that. I also just Halliburton he essentially skipped the game yesterday. He
was
didn't play.
insane, bro.
They didn't play him that many minutes, and he didn't take any shots. And there were so many times where he could have just pulled up for a deep three, which he had done in every single game previously in the series. And for whatever reason, yesterday, I know they're doubling him a little bit more, but for whatever reason, he was taking those threes before when they were doubling him. But for whatever reason, he was passing, and he's pass first, but to like the detriment of the team. He needed to get them kick-started. And, Siakam kind of started the game okay, but then his points dried up. And really without Mathurin, they weren't going to score. Like those first 3 quarters were pretty brutal. And yeah, I think in game 6, we're gonna have to see a bit more from.
I think Mathurin's gonna have to play more, dude. I think they need his offense.
But Halliburton, regardless of who's out there, Halliburton's got to shoot more. And I think Siakam needs to be a little bit. Siakam, to his credit, there are periods where he was trying to score more, but he also just went silent when the Knicks were on like a 10-0 run. And he just, when you're away from home, you can't let the crowd get into it as much as they did. And the Knicks crowd, I feel like, just carried them through the momentum there.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think they played Jarris Walker, which I was like,
you had called that out earlier in the series where you're like, I don't know if that pick's going to work out. He's really young, and they haven't played him, and
then they played him. They played all right.
I don't know what to make of him. He seems like a football player playing basketball.
That's kind of what he is, but he's.
I'm like, are you a football? I'm like, do you play linebacker on Sundays and basketball the rest of the week?
That's what Naismith looks like. Naismith, even when he was on the Celtics, was fucking yoked. I remember because he wasn't shooting well on the Celtics. That's kind of why they traded him. They're like, yo, you can't.
Yeah, but
Naismith is a fucking
a little bit more. He's a bit more refined. He's got a little bit more touch to him. I'm not saying that he doesn't have that element of his game, but I'm literally like, it looks like they picked Jarris Walker off the football field and just put him on
he's gonna be like a 4. He was an undersized 5 in college, but he's just a great athlete and he's physical.
So what is he? What the thing is, he hit some threes. He also airballed the 3. So I was just like, what is his position? Is he? What's his role?
He's really a 4. I don't know what his role offensively is. I think his role is just gonna be set screens, and then probably just do a lot of stuff a 5 does. Except they have a stretch 5, so they could kind of get away with.
I kind of like the Jarris Walker minutes over Ben Shepherd, if I'm being honest.
I like Shepherd, but Shepherd is better. He's a better shooter.
Yeah,
you know what's really been the issue, and he's one of my guys is Nembhard has been horrible offensively, and he looks
he forgot how to dribble the ball a little bit.
Dude, listen, I had to play, so this is on YouTube. This is the annoying thing of having a teammate that records every game. Is like I could go back and count my stats and be like, hey, I thought I was good, but it's there. Dude, I had a fucking breakaway layup on the left side, and then some kid was chasing me down. He wasn't going to get up to block it, and I literally just like fucking got so in my head that instead of just going up for a lefty layup, I tried to go up and under and smoked the bottom of the backboard on my under play. And the play that Nembhard had that reminded me of that, even though it wasn't as bad because they got an open 3 out of it, was Simmons brought it up. He got right to the rim, and Jalen Brunson was running over, and Nembhard should have just went up. Brunson wasn't in position to take the charge. He could have just got an and 1 or just laid it over Brunson or just hit Brunson just to hit him. And like, whatever, even if it's no call. And he just kicked it out for a fucking 3. And it's like, bro, you're 6'3". Brunson's my height, essentially. Like, there was nothing Brunson could do. Brunson wasn't even coming over to like hard foul him. He was just kind of standing there just to rotate. And then he's been bad, bro. He had a few jumpers, but he's been fucking ass. His turnovers been bad. He had one where he just like went off his hands. Like, they need to get something from him.
With all this said, I think they're going to win game 6 and it's going to be over.
I hope they do. I think they should. They'll play. Halliburton's not going to come out and just do whatever the fuck he did.
I think the crowd makes it when your team isn't that good, which I really don't think New York or Indiana. I don't think their team, they're not championship level. I do think the crowd makes a difference, especially with the role players.
No, they do.
And I know Indiana's won a lot of games away. Like, someone might be listening and being like, well, if anyone's listening, they might be like, well, what are you talking about? Indiana's won a bunch of away games. That's true, but I feel like they've also relied on their big stars mostly. And bullshit.
They've also relied on some devil magic, bro.
Yeah, but also like the New York Knicks just spontaneously just combusting and losing because of ineptitude, essentially. And yeah, Halliburton makes a play here or there, but I'm just saying that I don't think the role players have carried them to these away victories. It's
You're right.
mostly the fact that Halliburton plays well, Siakam plays well, and then the Knicks have just, shot themselves in the foot, essentially. And I just think at home, you play Halliburton his real minutes. You tell him, hey, in the first quarter, I think he needs to have a Luka Doncic first quarter, which means he gets out there and he feels if he's hot, and if he's got the hot hand, he rides it. And then after they've got some momentum, then he starts dishing the ball out. Like, they don't have such a good team that they can just be like, hey, here's 10 points for you and here's 10 points for you. It's like, no, we still need Halliburton to score at minimum 25 points to win this game. So let's get him going early, get him in kind of comfortable. Even if he shoots himself out of the game, which Luka does now and again, it's like, okay, then I'll go to my teammates. And then you go to Pascal Siakam, and then you go and, okay, maybe it's a Walker or Mathurin off the bench, or Miles Turner gets involved. But just making sure that, hey, we're getting our lead guard in a position where it's like, okay, the Knicks do need to respect him. We do need to send 2 guys at him. It's going to open up the floor a little bit. And then when he needs to get hot in the fourth quarter, he's already created a little bit of momentum, and he's not trying to start a fire from nothing, essentially, which is kind of what happened in Game 6. And he never really got into shooting mode or in Game 5. That can't happen in Game 6. So
no. I also do think they need to. I think the Knicks. I think they're not. I'm not saying they've like figured their paces out, not at all. But I'm saying there's Tibbs is switching out his rotation, which is actually interesting because he never used to do that. And they
mentioned it on the broadcast. They mentioned it on the broadcast.
Yeah. But they're doing better. The Knicks are doing better right now at staying in front of the Pacers and figuring out some of like the fucking crazy actions they're running. They're staying in front. So I feel like they need to play Mathurin more and live with some of the bozo ball stuff, because I think they need guys that could just fucking break somebody down. Because Nembhard's not doing it right now. He's like totally out of rhythm. And Siakam tries to do it, but it's going to be like he's going to be going against OG and shit. Like, that's not easy. So I think Nembhard needs to fucking if Josh Hart is the one on Mathurin's physically gifted. So it's like he needs to fucking start getting
Mathurin is either going to be integrated into this team long term, or he's going to be traded
somewhere else.
He's going to be traded, and it's going to be a decent package for him. He's a good there are plenty of teams in this league that would be like, give me Benedict Mathurin tomorrow. Like,
dude, I would love him on the Lakers. He's stupid shit, but he's athletic, and he's good. He tries to guard. He tries to guard, bro. He actually ended up guarding Brunson not bad. Like, they basically just played him or Naismith on Brunson. Like,
and he did have some super fouls, but he did a decent job. And the thing with him is, like, even if you give him 15 minutes a game, he can get you 20 points in those 15 minutes. He's always looking to score. I like that about him. He's aggressive. And what's funny about Tibbs is, you said he kind of dipped into his bench. I thought those Achua minutes and the Landry Shamet minutes were pretty good.
Shamet was good, bro.
I gave him a hard time on the first episode. I thought he was good because it wasn't that I think that Shamet's terrible. I mean, he's a 3-point shooter. I just was surprised Miles McBride wasn't getting the minutes that I thought he deserved as well. But, Precious Achua, my Memphis guy, shout out Memphis, my Memphis Tigers. He gave them a couple good minutes. Obviously, when Cat gets into foul trouble and Mitchell Robinson is out of the game as well. They need to bring him in. He's a better free throw shooter than Robinson. So it's not you can't hack him really. And he played decently defensively. Like, I think they should continue. Like, I think he should actually play 9 guys.
Yeah, I agree. I know Brunson started off that game and was hitting some deep threes, like contested threes, to kind of get the whole thing going. But they need to just, if the Knicks want to come back, bro, if they just keep running shit through Cat, they could come back. I'm serious, because I'm rooting for the Pacers.
I feel like you think at this point the Knicks are going to win the.
No, I don't. No. Okay, I have to take a stance. My stance is the Pacers are still going to win this series, but so that's my official stance. But no one can guard Cat on the.
I just think it's a little bit of an overreaction from last night. Like the game prior when the Pacers won, we were like, oh yeah, this thing's over. Like, there's just no stop.
No, I said game 5, the Knicks were going to win.
Yeah, you did say that, but I'm just saying I don't think the sentiment on the series. I don't think the sentiment on the series as a whole had shifted at that point. It was still the Pacers are going to win even if they lose game 5. And now it's like, oh, have the Knicks figured out the Pacers?
I think they've made some adjustments, dude. I think
they have made some adjustments, but okay. Do you don't think Rick Carlisle is going to come back and make some adjustments himself?
Yeah, I think, but one thing though is, if I think how do I say this? I think it was more about Carlisle, or it was more about Tibbs not doing the smart things earlier on and just sticking with stuff that was really bad. But I think now that he's made the adjustment to go deeper into his bench, and then because they just need the legs to keep up with the Pacers, and they're keeping up with them now more, and they've been kind of adjusting who they're playing through. I don't know necessarily what the Pacers adjustment is. I guess. Well, I guess they could just start swarming Cat on drives, and he'll probably start turning it over. So that's probably what's going to happen. But they have to, like. Here's my biggest thing: is Halliburton. I still maybe we jumped the gun. I love Hallie, but man, it looks really bad when he's not being aggressive.
Look,
how does he get by guys?
Dude, he's been so good this playoffs. I'm giving him the mulligan.
Of course,
what?
But I am okay. It's not so much the Pacer stuff. I'm mostly worried about how they guard Cat, because I didn't expect. I think it was last night when I witnessed for the first time. I'm like, bro, Miles Turner literally can't do anything against him. And I know people have already been mentioning this all series long, but I didn't believe it, dude, because I'm just thinking it's still Miles Turner. He's still a 7-foot athletic dude who's strong. Like, he's not a fucking weak center. And I'm watching Cat fucking abuse him going to the rim. And now, if you can't play Turner, if you're the Pacers, now you're fucked, because you have to play Tony Bradley at the 5, and there's no stretch 5 element. So that's my biggest concern is...
Yeah, I look, Cat's an elite shooter and has always had a great offensive game and has always had the fundamentals to be a great player. He's just a bit of a head case. And he was never able to figure it out in Minnesota. I think he's channeled a little bit more of, I would say, a better mentality in New York, but I still don't believe that he's going to figure it out.
But here's the thing. He has that look in his eyes now where I think he's figured out, oh shit, neither of these guys can guard me at all. So now that's the thing that I'm a little bit afraid of. If I was a Pacers fan, and I think they have to start quick and force Cat into turnovers. That's what it is. When he drives, you have to just send help and make him kick it. And if OG hits threes, because he just ended up having that look where it's like he didn't have to figure anything out anymore. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna blow. Siakam's too small, and Turner is, for some reason, not strong enough, and I can just shift him with the jab and then go. You fucking unstoppable, bro.
All right. So predictions.
And I'm rooting for the Pacers, but I was like, fuck, they can't guard these guys.
Prediction in Game 6, Pacers by how many points? What would, let's say I give you the over under. I don't even know what the line is, but let's say Pacers -4. What would you do?
Oh man. I think I would still take that, because I think the Pacers will win. If they win Game 6, I think they'll win by like 7 or 8. But I think it'll be one of the close. I think it'll be super close until the very, very end. I think the Knicks got confidence from that win. I don't think that was like a random, like, you remember in 2022, horrible playoffs, by the way, because of the outcome. But when the Warriors got blown up by 50 at Memphis for Game 5, they were up 3-1. That one didn't feel the same as this one, like, because the Warriors have been known to just punt games in the first fucking quarter.
They do punt games.
They do weird shit where they're just like, Steve Kerr will just be like, all right, we lost. It's like, dude, it's the third quarter. They punted that game pretty early, but I just felt like last night watching the Knicks play, they played different guys. Like, they were actually doing different shit to get to make the Pacers really uncomfortable. It wasn't like, oh, guys started hitting shots. It was like, oh, that there are different guys out there right now that I'm seeing. Guys are being put in different positions. Everything's different. So now I have to evaluate this as, how do the Pacers do against this totally different thing, which is what Tibbs probably should have done after Game 2.
Two things. One, I am totally in favor. I know it's bad for the product, but I think it's so smart to punt games. I don't understand why people keep their starters in so long. Like, you're down like 30 points and 7 minutes left in the fourth, and you still have your starters in. Like,
it depends on what the threshold is. If it's a low double digits threshold, which is, I think Kerr. I mean, dude, against the Rockets, I think if he could go back and maybe not punt that one, because that game they were only down 12. Like, throughout the third.
Yeah, but they won the series.
I know, but it went 7, and that fucking completely wore them down.
And but sometimes I feel like when you have an older team, I do feel like, hey, getting like playing like 20 minutes one night, like, kind of gives you that. Like, it's
listen,
not.
He knows his. I get.
Yeah, he knows
get
his
it.
team. He knows. I'm just saying. I don't know what the advanced analytics are, but we might come out in like 10 years and be like, hey, this is how we adjust for player rest. Like this is the threshold for which you should just pull all your starters and give them like their legs a rest. I don't know. I'm just saying I see it work in soccer some where people like will start a player on the bench, bring them on at halftime and bring them on with 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
To kind of save their legs. There's a big difference between playing a whole game and playing like 90 minutes.
100%. I just think, because here's the thing, you punt a game and then they couldn't win game 6, which was the game that fucked, like that was a pivotal game that fucked up their entire playoff run, because then you were getting a slugfest in 7. You won 7 comfortably, but you were
at what cost, right?
Yeah, and you had one day rest and you're playing Minnesota. And then they beat Minnesota even with Steph out, but Steph's gone. And then Minnesota just like got in rhythm and they just started bodying you. But listen, I think Carlisle's a good coach. I think the biggest adjustment will probably just be you can't single up Cat.
I agree with everything you've said about Cat. I do.
Yeah.
But I still think if they come out and Halliburton plays his game and he gets off to a hot start, I think it's partly a momentum game. I think if you let Cat get into rhythm and you like let him believe, then you're in trouble. Because I think it is a head case thing. Like he doesn't always have the confidence and he does get in foul trouble. He does make mistakes. And I think if you give him a chance to get going early, and I'm talking about Cat here, then yeah, it could work against you. But the opposite could also be said. You shut him down early, you get Halliburton going early, and you're on your way. And like this is their game 7. Like this is like, hey, we've gotten it back to our home court. It's a closeout game. Like they're ready to go. Like this is this is it.
Okay, so I think I've realized what actually was scaring me a little bit is obviously the Knicks, Brunson can't guard, and Cat is hit or miss on defense. Because there's times where he's also really good, and it's like, holy fuck, this guy's quick.
Like, he's really big.
He's really big. And he is quick, but his quickness only shows up on offense. But like it'll show up in spurts on defense. But the Pacers bigs, like Miles Turner is not going to ISO score against Cat. So Cat, it's harder to attack Cat on defense, even if it's like, oh, we're gonna get him in screens, because the Knicks started actually trying to fight through screens more. So it's really just attacking Brunson, right? But the guy to attack Brunson is gonna be Hallie, which Hallie is good enough offensively, but what makes him special is his point guard skills, not necessarily his like ISO scoring skills. So when I'm thinking about the Pacers is, all right, they're gonna have to somehow get into the paint and keep getting advantage. It's gonna be mostly on Hallie, but Hallie's gonna have to hit a bunch of fucking deep pull-up threes early in that game. That's what he's been doing
in the series, though.
I know. But then I look at Cat on the other end, and all he has to do is just put his fucking head down, get right to the rim. Like that's an actual mismatch. So
sure, look, you're asking a lot from Cat, though. You're asking Cat to be competent.
True. I'm asking Cat to be focused and not commit dumb fouls. And I think probably what Carlisle's going to do is just start sending help and just like whatever the fuck they were doing to Ant. OKC was doing an Ant where they just like send another body as soon as he gets to the paint. That's what I'm doing against Cat, and I'm just gonna rip him and just make him stop shooting, even at the cost of them hitting threes. Because you cannot, if they play Cat the same way that they did last game, I think they're losing game 6, bro.
I also think like
he was just right at the rim. He was right at the rim every time.
Matherin's earned his minutes.
Yeah, Mathurin has to play because they need somebody else to break someone off the dribble. Because Nembhard is in his own head right now. Nembhard is fucking
I also what I hate for the Pacers, and like this is why they're going to get swept in the finals, the Thunder. Dude, Miles Turner struggles, but when he's off the bench, they are so screwed.
So bad.
Or when he's on the bench, they have to either play Bradley or Bryant, and neither of those guys can play. Neither of them should be playing in the playoffs. Like they're not playoff caliber players. And so, as exposed Miles Turner seems, you have to have him on the court. Like that's a guy who honestly should be playing the entire fourth quarter. Like get him his rest at the end of the third. That's I know. But I'm just saying, like those Miles Turner minutes off the court when he's on the bench are a disaster. Because Mitchell Robinson, you can foul him or whatever, and he's not a good free throw shooter. I think Achua is better than either of the backups that Indiana has. I mean, they're 100%. They don't have bigs off the bench at all. Like they're better off going Obi Toppin and just playing small ball. Honestly, I would take Turner off of Cat and then play a smaller. I would do like the Jokic thing where you just play someone smaller, play up on him, and then make him drive into Turner and just
basically make him turn into Julius Randle, where it's like I have to attack Caruso one-on-one, and then every time he goes, he gets stripped. Because Cat can pass, he actually can pass, but I don't think he's going to. Like I think
you're a lot more confident in Cat than I am. I think
Cat's
I think you throw a little bit at him and he'll squirm and break down and make.
Hopefully, I want Indiana to in the finals because I think they have a better chance to beat OKC than New York.
I think they have a better chance to take a game from OKC. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I want to see a better. I want to see a better finals. But yeah,
but how Knicks? But just in the honor of the Knicks, I am a Celtics guy. But in the honor of the Knicks, how Knicks would it be to come back, win Game 6, win Game 7, and then just get blown out in every single game against OKC?
Here's the thing, though: if they win, I know, but
so but Knicks.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, man, with these curses and shit like that, when it's been that long, because it's been 50 plus years since they won a championship, dude, it could be some 04 Red Sox shit where they come back, win, go in the finals. Now, obviously, the Sox played the Cardinals, and there was like the Sox Yankees were basically the series, but the Sox coming back from 3-0 was insane. And it's listen, that didn't happen in the social media era, but that doesn't get talked about enough because that that's just wild. But
but I said that's at the beginning of the pod. I said barring a catastrophic injury. I mean, it would have to be SGA.
But that's what I'm saying. It could happen though. But it could definitely happen. And if the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks are getting hurt. Like I think the Knicks right now.
No, the Knicks are. Yeah, I agree.
Dogs, and they're gonna just hang. And if the Knicks get in the finals, I'm not gonna count out.
Just so you know.
It's Black Magic season.
Have it in your back pocket. You can get the Knicks to win the NBA championship 16-1 right now.
Really? Should
just saying. On that? You put 100 on it. You're up.
It might be worth it just to put 100 on that. Because I'll tell you this: the Warriors bet that I fucking had all season, it wouldn't have made me feel better if the Warriors had won the championship. I would have been devastated. But it was nice knowing, hey, if the disastrous thing.
Are you going to throw 100 on it?
Yeah. What was that? I wasn't DraftKings. I was on FanDuel. Forget my FanDuel.
All right, we've got our first promo for anyone that subscribes prior to the Knicks winning the championship. You'll be entered in sweepstakes for a portion of this winnings if the Knicks do win, which will be disclosed on a later podcast.
Log in. What was my fucking password?
Yeah, say it live for all the listeners.
I don't know. I mean, I don't fucking have it.
LeBron James Lover 69@gmail.com and I love LeBron is the password.
Remember when at one point you were asking for this was years ago. We were like,
no, don't even say it online.
No, I don't have any passwords like that anymore.
Okay.
You're like,
it was like, what's the password to this? Because we were living in Somerville, and I was like, what's the password to this app or something on the TV that we were using? But we got logged out of, and you were like, Bronze Stands.
No, it was Braun Fifth. It was like Braun Fifth something.
Braun
and then you're like,
yeah.
Dude, what the fuck? You're literally like, why do you make your password so complicated? Because it was like Braun Fifth asterisk, like exclamation point.
Yeah. It was like, yeah. Or like there's one where it's like LeBron Stan, but the S was like $$ or something like that. Yeah, it's just like, what are you doing?
All right, let's see. Dude, I hate these websites. It's impossible to just like just to open my account. It's like press and hold, all of this should verify all of this. I
love that. It's like you've got 17 different things you have to get through to open your website, open up your betting app, and you've got like $17 in your account. It's like, oh geez, thanks for the safeguard there. You're seeing 1600, right? That's 16-1.
Yeah, but it's not even letting me fucking go in right now because it's like, oh, you got to verify.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. But bottom line is, for all the listeners, if you subscribe prior to the Knicks winning, there will be it disclosed on a later pod, but you will enter the sweepstakes of a lifetime for a portion of the winnings that we're about to put on this.
Okay, I'm in. It says career stats net total minus 1,000, obviously, because you know the bet that I made.
Yeah.
I'd fucking do it again, dude.
So just while you do this, I'll fill everyone in. Chen is a big proponent of black magic. Big proponent of black magic. He's used it against me several times, and in this most recent one that he's tried to do. He is betting every season, essentially preseason. He bets on the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA championship. If they do, he wins like 30 grand. And if they don't win it, which is more likely, obviously, then he loses like $1,000 or $500 or whatever it was. I always chip in with like a couple $100 to ease the pain when he sees that 1K bet disappear from his account. But it's one of those where it's a win-win situation. If they win, he wins a whole bunch of money, and if they lose, then he's happy and can sleep
They
well at
won't.
night, knowing that
I'm not gonna
LeBron's
do it
legacy is in
anymore
place. What's wrong?
because they won't let me use my credit card. I think or maybe they never do.
It's fine. We'll figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah,
I can do it on my account too. It's no big deal. Anyway, we're wrapping up the pod here. We got a couple minutes left, but
so you
for the
got
last
your predictions. Sorry. Your prediction is Pacers in 6, and then OKC in 4.
I got Pacers in 6. They win this next game, close it out. And then OKC in 4 or 5. I think the Pacers could steal a game, but if I were to put money on it, I'd put a sweep. I think that every game should be a blowout.
Yeah. Have you bet that? Have you bet that as a parlay?
Bet what? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that. I didn't know we were doing a betting segment, but maybe
I didn't either. But you just brought it up. So hey, dude,
yeah.
If you're gonna fuck around,
yeah, I don't know. And then if I do NBA Finals, can I do OKC? Yeah, they won't let me do it together. It's 2 separate bets, but I'm sure I could figure out. I could finagle a way to do it, or hypothetical. Yeah, but see, the odds aren't that good. They've already got like hypothetical series bets, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Vegas is all over OKC. You're not making any money if you're betting on OKC at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, rounding out the pod. I know we've kind of gone off the trail here. We don't talk about betting that much, but when
maybe we will.
It's fun to look at odds. Yeah, maybe we'll do a segment of a few betting notes on the No Notes podcast. But it's not something I look at every time. But it is interesting to just kind of see where Vegas lies and where the money lies. Not that I kind of come up with anything or make up my mind based on that, but I do always take a look and I dip my toe in every now and again. You know me. So. Yeah, I guess any final thoughts on Game 6 and kind of the finals ahead? We'll check back in and do another pod probably before the finals start, I'd assume. But just want to make sure that, if it isn't 6, then we might not check in until next week at some point.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I'll probably still lean where you're leaning. I think Pacers take Game 6, but that Game 5 was a little bit scary. It was a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary, dude.
I'm calling a Pacers win, Game 6. Calling Halliburton over 30 points. And
30-10 from Hallie again.
Yeah, Hallie's always good for 10. I mean, the assist thing, like he's always good for the assists. If he doesn't get 10 assists, they lose because that just means everyone's missing their threes. But yeah, I think he'll be back. But he'll have his dad in the building, so he can like fight Brunson if need be at the end of the game.
Yeah, his dad versus Rick Brunson takes out a Knicks assistant coach. Although Rick Brunson is fucking yoked. I wouldn't want to fight Rick Brunson, bro.
Yeah, wait, what was that fight that was going to happen?
DiVincenzo.
No, it was Pat Mahomes Sr. against that baseball player.
That was absurd. I didn't even I was like, if you're Mahomes, you can never. The NFL couldn't. Like the NFL would have stepped in. Like Goodell and the Choppers would have dropped in at Rough and Rowdy and be like, "No, no, you can't fucking have the best quarterback in the league. You cannot have his dad fighting at Rough and Rowdy."
Yeah, no, they would never let anything. They would look if they're not going to let Golden Boy get touched when he's got half a foot out of bounds. It's gonna be a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, dude, I can't wait till we hit NFL season and we start potting, dude. I forgot. Because I don't have opinions. I don't give a fuck about the NFL anymore. So I'm just like, oh my God, Mahomes sick. But all of you guys hate Mahomes so much. It's just so crazy.
So hateable.
Root for an Eagles ring, bro. But
I didn't. I mean, it's the devil.
Dude, the Eagles. Listen, the Eagles. You want to talk about dynasty? That fucking team.
Nah.
Is 100% to be a dynasty. We'll talk more about it when the NFL season begins. But dude, that team is just from the outside looking in. I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about it. We started this pod after really like the end of NFL season. We missed the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty of preseason to talk about Drake May, our Pats, and the rest of the NFL landscape. But for now, we've got the NBA. But that's it for No Notes episode 2. Hope you enjoy it. And please like and subscribe when you are done with the pod.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Catch y'all later.